Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope this video can make it a little bit better for you. This is going to be our first match testing out our 6-star Yuumi. Should be pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. First, let's take a look at that 6-star round start. Grow all allies to the strongest ally stats this round. So we can focus just on really buffing up one unit. Then start of the round, everyone else will be grown to that size. This should give us pretty good amount of power, and we'll actually probably change how we play, because previously with Yuumi, you really just wanted to focus on Yuumi and you didn't really care about your other units at all. So if you need to sacrifice them for blockers or anything like that, then that was totally fine. Now here, we still want to focus on buffing up Yuumi or whatever card Yuumi is attached to, because the bigger they are, then the bigger everyone else will be. But here we'll actually want to be trying to protect our units, keeping them alive, so that we can have more units on the board, all growing up and being pretty massive. Now, as far as some of the other bonuses for the constellations, just in case you don't know, allies have faded. When you target a faded ally, grant it a additional 1/1. 2-star +1 starting mana, summon 2 random 1-cost Poros. Great to have attached targets. Phalanx, very, very good for trying to protect our units and keep them alive. When you target them, give them barrier. And then the mana flow. Then just the bonus stars, Nexus Health Gold. Support champs have bonded bucklers. And then these 3 different spells, which are all ones we can generate, all have Hextech Fabricator. These are going to be a lot of our methods for targeting. Then also followers you acquire have Warmogs, just try to keep them alive. And then our Poros get 1 extra item. Now, there's a couple different builds you can try with Yuumi. I think we'll test out this one today. We're going to go for the perfect hex score so we can get that targeting really good for triggering our 4-star, as well as also triggering our faded. Spirit of the Buru to give a bunch of keywords to all of our 1-cost allies. You can often switch this out for Beast Within, and that's normally what I go to, but I think we'll try this today. And then Gale Force, just so that whatever Yuumi attaches to also gets that scout. Now, when we are testing out 6-stars, we're pretty much going up against Fiddlesticks, just because he is generally the hardest content in the game. So let's go ahead and hop in here. Power, let's see what we're able to get. Level up, Mystic Meditation, Treacherous Terrain. I don't think we'll bother with this right now. Both of these are fine, but I think we have 7 rerolls. Let's try to get something a little bit better for us. Stabilize, Reap. I think we'll do this. Could be pretty good for trying to scale up our units even more, especially our Yuumi. So let's, go ahead and grab this one. And let's go for Sleepless. This is looking fine. We only have 1 champion right now, so we know we're guaranteed to grab our Yuumi. Let's go ahead and drop her here. Let's go for the one that has that spell shield. They don't have mana to play this. Here, I think we'll use this to buff up this unit a little bit more, just because at the next rounds then, they'll make our other units a little bit stronger. Now, we potentially could have tried to fill out our board with a couple, well, we didn't really have mana for extra units, but trying to get more units on your board early would probably be pretty good. Alright, so both units go up to whatever Yuumi's at. We'll buff Yuumi up right here. I think let's go for the Face Sprout since we can get another Poro. Let's try to drop the Yordle. Oh, they're willing to end. Let's still drop a tiny spear just so that we can have another blocker. Alright, they're willing to end. This is great. We have a mostly filled board, which means everyone is then scaling up to that 9-10. We're still going to focus on buffing up Yuumi since she has the scout attack. Let's go ahead and attack right here. We can try to get this one out of the way, which will further scale us up even more.
Let's find a new best friend.
Alright, not bad. 4 damage, that's totally fine. And here we can just go ahead and attack. And that should be game. GG. So far, just after 1 match, not feeling too bad. Here, we don't really like any of these. Like, we want more 1-costs. I guess we'll go for the Bandle Commando, but none of these are particularly great for us. Let's see what we can get for a support champion. Again, a 1-cost would probably be favorable. And Misfortune's not great. Crackshot Corsair, though, is pretty good. So we'll probably go here just for that Crackshot Corsair. Granted, the Tentacle would be a 1-cost, so that wouldn't be bad either. Although, yeah, this goes up to a 2-cost, which isn't great. Oh, Alawi could actually be pretty good. Yeah, having that power riff and mana deposit, that makes her much better. All right, yeah, I do like Crackshot Corsair, but I think we'll go for Alawi because we could play her cheaper and play her for free, which would be very nice. And then any of the tentacles we spawn are going to be a 1 cost, so I think let's actually go here. All right, 2 options to cut cards. Not really great against Fiddlesticks, but I think we'd kind of get hard countered by this effect. It'd likely kill all of our Poros right away. So let's go here for Shadow in the Brush and then hit up the spells chest. Let's get rid of Bandle Commando and the Stone Stackers. We'd like to get our Alawi if we could, and more 1 costs. All right, great. So we can drop Alawi then. Technically, we could attach to Alawi. She does have the Overwhelm still. She wouldn't get the quick attack, though, so that's not necessarily the best, but it could still potentially work. Sure, we'll go ahead. Then we can get Alawi's attack effect to go off multiple times. We'll save the Hex Core in case we need to target her again, but we can get our Scout attack off right here. This is burst speed, so again, we could wait, see how they block. Although attacking with most of these units honestly doesn't really matter. It's not like it's going to get much effect off. So yeah, I think let's just target and try to buff up Alawi. Because the bigger she is, then the bigger our other units will be as well. So yeah, after round 1, pretty solid units. I think let's actually get rid of the Terror. Let's go for a Hex Core upgrade right here. There's a decent chance that they're about to attack, so we could go for the Quick Quill to try to buff up someone else, but I think let's try to play a Yordle Squire. They say they're willing to end, which isn't too bad. Yeah, I don't want to push my luck. Sometimes if you play another spell, they'll be like, okay, we'll attack then. If they're willing to end, so are we. That's perfectly fine. All right, let's go for the Tiny Spear first. Honestly, this attack will be pretty close to ending.
Time to turn the page, book.
All right. Yeah, I guess we can buff up. Sure, we can buff the Tentacle. And then this should be just be GG. All right, going pretty well. I think we can go for the Tentacle Smash. That'll be fine. Yeah. Let's go in here for the spells chest. I think we will get this. Farsight isn't the best, but if we can draw enough to be a 1 cost or less for our Alawi, that would be pretty awesome. Shop or champion item? Champion item would be nice, but I would like to get another power, so I think let's go there. Let's go for Theophobia. I think we should be able to counter this pretty well. Let's get rid of Watchful Idol. I think we can get rid of Tentacle Smash. We'd like to make sure we get our Alawi if we can. All right, perfect. So Alawi is down to a 1 cost. Let's go ahead and drop her here. Now we can drop Yuumi on top of her. And yeah, we'll save the Hex Core in case we need another barrier later. But let's get our Scout attack. Do we care about the Affectionate Poro? List can be a little rough. I feel like they're probably not going to care.
A chance to live.
Yeah, I think let's go ahead and keep buffing up Alawi. And we should be fine. Everyone else has barrier. This one has spell shield, so it'll eat one of their vulnerables.
This is it. Land or drown.
Yep, and there's nothing they can do. Pretty much anyone with a Phalanx is a pretty good counter to Theophobia. Alright, let's... I think go for the Prowling Projectile first. Alright, we'll just give that barrier so that it can be protected. Granted, it does still have that vulnerable, so they'll still be able to attack it. Granted, it's bigger than anything they have, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, we could play the Quick Quill, but I think let's drop this right here. And yeah, they're willing to end. We'll try to push our luck a little bit by buffing up Alawi. Yeah, I didn't think they'd attack. Alright, that's a pretty big, scary board. Alright, scout attack and maybe game. But if not, we have another attack that's going to definitely end them. Yeah, GG. Answered prayer. We don't really need another Farsight. I suppose we can get this just because it's already in our deck, but yeah, nothing too great there. Another Farsight. Again, that's not necessarily the best. Inheritance. We're hopefully not going to have anyone die. So I think let's try to see if we can get something a little bit better. Alright, a couple more units. Those are just more people that can be attached to if we want, but just more units we can scale up, so that'll actually be quite good. We could get this just so we have more cards in our deck. Getting it at the start of the game isn't bad. It's just with Farsight into Fiddlesticks, it does make you get milled a little bit harder. But let's go here for the healer. Don't think I want to cut any cards, just again because it's Fiddlesticks. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave here and then try to go for Elise. Don't really like any of these. Let's re-roll everything. We want both of our champions if possible.
Let me change into something more comfortable.
All right, little unfortunate. Let's go ahead and drop the Hex Core upgrade, and we pretty much have a full board because once Alawi starts attacking, then the tentacle will get bigger and bigger. I think let's drop this here. The tentacle won't be able to do anything, but this is more for the epic item. If we get Alawi like double attack or scout, since we don't have Yuumi, that would be nice. Scout, perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So let's go ahead and attack right here. And do we care about attacking with anyone else? We could attack just to protect the tentacle by giving it barrier. But I kind of feel like... yeah, sure. We can go ahead and attack like this. Alright, so we don't have our Yuumi, but we're still doing okay. And the fact we have a full board is going to be very nice. Interesting. Let's go ahead and drop that there.
Not on my watch.
And yeah, we actually have big enough units that no one's really died from anything, at least at the moment. Alright, let's go ahead and attach Yuumi here. Okay, stunning now is not really the biggest of deals. Let's go ahead and go for a tentacle smash. And I suppose we could kill that one right there. Alright, let's go for our scout attack. Yeah, having Alawi is pretty great because Alawi's so good with multiple attacks. But this should just be game. I guess these two don't have Overwhelm, so we could have given one of them Overwhelm. Oh well, GG. That is one of the benefits of Beast Within, is just making sure all your units have Overwhelm. But giving all your one cost that's Quick Attack Overwhelm is pretty nice. Augment is pretty good. Yeah, I think we might go ahead and do that. We'll give it for Yuumi, because they'll just give it potentially then to Alawi. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We should play a decent amount of crit spells, so it should give us a decent amount of damage. Perfected mana flow. Allies have hallowed. Now, this is obviously great, but we are trying to see how the champion is going to do against Fiddlesticks. I don't think I want to necessarily change that by kind of getting this extra power. I think going for maybe the husks and then they get consumed right away to buff up our other unit even more could be pretty solid. Could reroll though for something that is good, maybe not that good. Sure. The game starts, summon a sparring student. We're already kind of doing too much, or we already kind of filling up our board because we have 2 units at the start of the game. We're summoning 2 more from a previous power. We're then summoning or trying to summon a Lowy, who's then summoning a tentacle. So we're already kind of maxed. Quick draw can be okay. Could give us a little bit too much cost reduction. Like it can be fine. Sure, we can try to go for quick draw. Could be okay. I think we are decent against both of these. Failings can be nice for survive the night, but it can just go pretty long. We're an early game champion. We can probably just end here before this one we finish. Let's go for Pale Death. Although I suppose our barrier effects don't actually save us from kill spells. That's a little rough. Let's reroll everything. We want our 2 champions if possible. We got our Yuumi. Perfect. I think we'll try to pass here so that they play something. We don't want to drop like our Lowy and then they immediately kill her. So let's try to pass. Okay, yeah, they normally play something. Now we can drop Lowy. And then we can go for Yuumi. And yeah, they're out of mana, so they're... Well, we'll still... Actually, we have quick attack. I was going to say we're going to save this for the potential of another barrier, but since we have that quick attack, and we're stronger than any of their units, it shouldn't matter. Alright, let's go ahead and attack again, leveling up our Lowy. And then now all of our units get pretty massive. Yeah, this isn't like that complex of a 6-star, but it's definitely strong. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and try to pass, see what they do. Was a little bit worried about that. That's kind of our one weakness, is a kill spell. But Deathless is nice. We won't be able to buff her up to the same point she was previously, but still having the scout on a Lowy would be good. So I think we'll still, put her here. Yeah, we can go ahead and end. That's fine. All right, let's go for our scout attack. That'll still give them the opportunity to try to kill her, but yeah, it can be fine. We need to just attack ourselves because of the scout. And GG. Nice. This going down to a 1 cost is not bad. Redoubled Valor could be pretty good and could be relatively cheap, because if we got this turn 1, especially if we drew it, it'd be even cheaper. Sure, this would be really good with our 6-star, because if we get 1 unit massive, we can then essentially get everyone to be massive. Let's go here for the shop. See if we can get another decent effect. Allies attack, deal 1 to all enemies in the enemy nexus. Sure, especially since we have Overwhelm, this can soften them up. If they happen to have anything like a barrier or something like that, this can get rid of it. I think let's get the Tentacle Smash, so just if we do play it, getting 2 epic items, although probably should have saved the gold for the shop over here. Let's go for the Sickening Plunge. Alrighty, let's, get rid of these 2. We have Yuumi, which is great. Alright, let's go ahead and drop our Lowy. Yeah, we should have. They often have a recall. Okay, good. They blew all their mana on other things. So Redoubled Valor isn't bad. Kind of the only issue right now is the fact that Lowy's not very big. So I think we might try to play this another round. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop our Yuumi here.
Play, bop, and knock over some cups.
And we have that quick attack. Yeah, we can kill any of these if they try to block us.
Witness truth. Meet me. Nagasho. Witness truth. Come, test yourself.
So this one will be able to kill that one right there, which is pretty good. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack.
Witness truth. Nagakaboros moves within me.
So yeah, Alawi might get recalled this next round. But overall, we're doing pretty well.
Nagasho.
Okay, they're spending all of their mana on that. Can't say I'm complaining.
Witness truth.
Sadly, we are 1 mana away from being able to play our Redoubled Valor, which is a little bit sad. But I think let's use the Tentacle Smash right here and kill some of these more annoying targets.
Defend yourself.
And because it's killing it, it's fully healing from one of our legendary or epic powers, which is pretty great. So we can just go again. And we have double attack now. It's, yeah, gonna be over.
Nagasho. Witness truth.
All right, we'll go for this counter attack, but yeah, that alone is probably just gonna end.
Let's find a new best friend.
Witness truth.
All right, GG.
Nagasho.
Let's see here. 1 cost, faded, start a free attack. Not a huge fan. I think let's go for the Watchful Idol. This one could be decent with doubling dice, but we're probably never going to play it, to be honest. Yeah. All right, let's go for the shop. And yeah, we're not going to have enough. Yeah, it would have been good to save gold the last shop, or at least not necessarily save gold, but to check to see what the other spots would be. Because getting Yip's Genius would have been pretty solid. But let's see here. Yeah, we can go ahead and get some more copies of this. And we should be fine. Fill your hand with gems. Cost 0, deal damage to your Nexus. Heal your Nexus equal to my cost. This could be decent, although filling our hand with gems would make us get milled pretty hard. Let's maybe do a reroll, because if we can get one of our effect that doubles the stats, that'd be pretty good. Although mini morph, that could be pretty solid. Because if you need a panic mini morph, making it just cost 4 Nexus damage isn't bad. I think we will go ahead and grab that. Do we care about cutting a card? I don't think so. Let's just try to go for Fiddlesticks. Let's get rid of most of these. Although again, that's going to make us get milled even harder. We really need our Yuumi. Fine. So good start and a bad start. Like them getting 2 isn't great. Let's go ahead and pass. They normally play something. All right, they don't have enough for their Vengeance, which is nice. Let's go ahead and go for our Yuumi right here.
New adventure.
And again, we're going to save this just in case they block our first attack.
Witness truth. Nagasho. Come, test yourself.
All right, let's go ahead and attack.
Witness truth. Nagasho.
Getting some decent damage down.
This is it. Land or drown.
So we will get a pretty big board. Dropping a Protopora wouldn't be terrible. Also, it's a 1 cost. So yeah, I think replacing one of these right here with the Protopora is pretty solid. But that's a lot of cards. Alright, so we will drop this one right here. And with the barrier, they won't get healed with lifesteal, which is pretty great. Although, We could block their elusive. We'll just let this go through though. The good thing is the gloom won't really matter. As long as it doesn't kill our units, they will be fine. Let's go for the... yeah, this one's the Alawi one, which while shuffling something back in our deck could be nice. I think I want to keep her alive. Or not. I want to have a copy of her in hand.
A life blessing. Da.
I think their vengeance is a 3 cost, so I'm going to hold off for now. Alright, the good thing is with this attack, we should be getting barrier, or not barrier, well, that, but the big thing is spell shield, which we just got that kind of anyways. But let's go ahead and get our scout attack off.
Let's find a new best friend.
Witness truth. Nagasho.
Alright, Crowstorm, but that kind of doesn't matter.
Witness truth.
Alright, I think let's go ahead. We'll give this one the extra effects because it doesn't have Overwhelm, but then massive group of units,
Nagasho.
and this should just be
Witness.
GG. Nice. Yuumi 6-star is feeling really, really good. Oh, this says new record here, but this is on the Riot account, so that makes some sense. Yeah, Yuumi with that 6-star is feeling very good. It changes you from a deck that is primarily focused on just your one champion, well, that's your only like strong unit, where a lot of your other units are pretty weak because you're normally just funneling all your upgrades for one. And it makes it from a deck like that, which is more similar to someone like a Vayne, to now actually one that you're still focused on buffing up a single unit, but by doing that, all of your units are now massive and giving her a lot of extra power. So overall, I think it's a very simplistic 6-star, but has quite a bit of power around it and is really good, especially with that 4-star of your Phalanx down here. Just gives you so many ways to protect your allies and then scale them all up, which is quite nice. That's it for me though. If you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe as always is greatly appreciated. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.